This is the MTPredictor Weekly Update for July 29th. So let's set the stage once again. We've got a Fed week coming here with the announcement on interest rates on Wednesday. Of course, anybody anticipates the Fed moving interest rates. That's not really the point here. The point is going to be any hint of quantitative easing or QE3. And this is what the market will be looking for. This is kind of what the market is anticipating and why we've been rallying in the face of bad economic, bad housing data, not only here but in Europe. The thing that's really driving the market is, in the face of that, is the fact that the Fed is in a position where it's going to have to step in, I think, at some point, and I think the market is anticipating this. If it doesn't come this meeting, maybe we get some selling coming in if the Fed disappoints. If there's any hint of QE3, I think, well, let's kind of take a look here and see. Let's just kind of backtrack. Here's the SP again on the daily chart. We had a significant high here. This was a weekly decision point resistance area. And we know this unfolded into this DP support, as I've shown you, as a 5-wave pattern down. We get the DP buy signal on high volume telling us professionals were buying in here, and the chances are the market would reverse at least back to the wave 4 decision point. We said, I said, if we take this area out, we call it a decision point area. If they take it out to the upside, the tendency is we're going to erase this whole 5-wave pattern down. So if I take a decision point off of the top of wave 1 here, that's ultimately the area that we would tend to see once this area gets taken out to the upside. You can see where we closed on Friday. We're not out of the woods, though. And here's why. If let's take a look at the weekly chart, because it's a little clearer on the weekly chart. Again, here's our significant high on the weekly chart. This 5-wave pattern down, or this sell-off here on the weekly chart, was where our 5-wave pattern down was on the daily chart. That's where we got our decision point buy, and this has been our rally. On the weekly chart, again, the reason I was favoring the upside was because we were in wave 4. We had a nice strong blue buyers candle telling us the buyers were overcoming the sellers in the support area here, and I projected wave 5 up, and I felt that we would, the market was going to seek at least that minimum wave 5 target, and we can kind of see how we've progressed. Right, there's our wave 5 target, so pretty close. I'm just going to drag this, extend this box over here. So you can see we're pretty close. I didn't quite get that on there. To the target being around 1388, 8850 area, 1390 if you want. All right, but you see the minimum wave 5 target is inside this wave 3 high. So why I say we're not out of the woods yet here, it's interesting how the market comes into these critical junctures just as we're about to get some critical news, because we're going to come up into an area where market is going to have to make a decision, because we're not out of the woods. Even if we get into this wave 5 target, number one, yeah, that is a potential market top scenario. I think let's take a decision point off of this wave 3 here. Your next level of resistance will come in around that 1433 area, and then your typical wave 5 is going to be around 1480. Our decision point off of this significant high here is our kind of a weekly target. If they take this wave 5 out, that would be the next target, but this would be significant in that, again, anything in here is a potential top before we get a correction. But the question is whether or not we're going to stop here, 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 And I think if we get, any hint of QE3, I think that's going to propel us through minimum wave 5, at least into this decision point area, and taking out, the important thing is that we take out this prior swing high in wave 3. If they fail to do so, this is when we're going to run into a problem, because what would set up, or which is potentially setting up, is, since this is a significant high in the weekly chart, this becomes wave 1 into wave 2, and like I said, we can project wave 3 down. That's why I said, last week is the top in, because if they can't take this out to the upside, the danger is we end up down here, typical wave 3 target sitting on, on the weekly chart now, around 1135. Again, bigger picture stuff. This stuff doesn't happen in a day. This is a weekly chart. All right. But that's the danger, is if we can't take this out, we could see this end. If we can take this out, I think we see this decision point area. That will complete the sequence from the crash in 2008, where we had this 5-wave pattern down here. All right, that was the market bottom in March of 2009. You can see we had the 5-wave pattern down in connection with a major decision point buy signal with divergence, and then we rallied to take out the, again after 5 waves, we rallied to take out the wave 4 DP here, which told us that this whole 5-wave pattern down, or the tendency is that it would get erased to the upside. Here's the decision point off of the top of wave 1 there, and you see how I extended that, and we came into that area a number of weeks ago, and that's when I said we'd get this correction, and now here we are back. So it's a this is a critical area that we're getting into. I think we get to the minimum wave 5 target. The question is, can we take out this prior swing high here? At least retest it. There's danger, because this is all potential market top areas. But the question, I think, is whether we stop short of taking out this high, or we get through there into this area. We'll see. So watch that. Again, that Fed meetings, the announcement, it'll start on Tuesday. The announcement on interest rates will come on Wednesday. And so be mindful of that, even if you're trading intraday, as that obviously will affect things intraday. So let's take a look at some of the other markets here now. All right, here again, the weekly chart of gold, and you can see the kind of consolidation pattern. You've got this triangle or wedge forming, like I talked about last week. This thing is going to break one way or the other. We'll see if we get a close above this wedge here, and that high gets taken out. Break is probably going to be to the upside. If we get a close below this area and that low gets traded below, chances are we may test that weekly 200 period, and like we talked about, we'll look at the silver chart in just a second. But one thing that was pointed out to me that I thought was interesting by one of the gold people I follow that I buy through, and that is the accumulation and distribution has risen significantly. Normally it trades with the price, and it's diverged here, and maybe an indication that the weak hands have kind of given up. Gold, you're not hearing much about gold and silver, especially silver, in the news anymore, and sentiment is really down. But this suggests that the next break will be to the upside. We'll see. Again, let's just take a look at silver here. Because silver is again in that same kind of holding pattern, that support area here with gold. But we did talk about this, again, this significant high, because this was wave 5. This could be wave 1, 2. Wave 3 comes in down around $15 an ounce, and if the break is to the downside, we could see $15 an ounce silver, and gold would be down probably around its weekly 200 period moving average, which we haven't really seen since the crash of 2008. So we'll see. Again, a kind of a holding pattern there as well. Everything kind of coming into some critical junctures. If we look at I'm going to bring in the Euro US dollar here. This Euro US dollar, this is the weekly chart. Again, we had a buy signal in here early. This was not a standard trade setup. Would be a more advanced trade setup that I talked about that I felt that would fail, that we were going to roll over and get a new low, and we did. And we're in this now kind of typical wave 5 area. I didn't feel that this minimum wave 5 would hold. And if we go to the daily chart here, you can see here was, again, they had some buy signals here, but the pattern now is we're in typical wave 5 on the daily chart. All right, the tendency is you get a rally back to the wave 4 DP into this area. All right, but and I think a lot of this is going to hinge on this whole, QE going forward here. If the market is going to rally, then this may rally as well. The dollar may sell off. If we look at the dollar index, I still eventually it's still out there. Let me go to the weekly chart. All right, this buy signal with a nice high volume spike here was telling us that we were going to correct the dollar back to the 85.19 area, and so we've been slowly progressing inch by inch to get to that area. But like I said, we'll see what happens with this Fed meeting and how these things all get affected here. And then last, I guess we can look at oil. Again, on the weekly chart, we kind of had that double bottom, a little rally off that double bottom. On the daily chart, we're coming into some, this area, I already had it highlighted there. If we put the Elliott wave pattern on there, this wave 2 or B resistance area, so potential wave 1 into wave 2, or I'm sorry, wave A into wave B. We can project wave C down if we want now. Alright, so if they cannot take this area out, this resistance area out, then chances are we'll see this $75 oil. Again, this is the daily chart, so not going to happen in one day. But if they can take this out, then if we can take this area out to the upside, well, we can just take a decision point off of this area, and they take this out, then maybe we see around just above 110 in oil. So again, kind of a critical juncture here, in some resistance, just kind of the start of this resistance area here. If this area can hold as resistance, then we may see lower prices. If it can't, then the next target probably going to be this this $110 area eventually. Alright, so we'll leave it there. I wish you all a good trading week. Don't forget the Fed announcement on Wednesday, and that certainly can have an impact on things and kind of reset the analysis. So it'll be a big week this week. Alright, take care. See you back next week.